There's a lot of really good head coaches in the Big Ten Conference. So this list, power ranking the best head coaches in the Big Ten from 1 through 14, was not an easy task. But it's time to attach my name to who I think are the best and the worst head coaches in our beloved B1G. Before I get to that, just a reminder to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Big Ten content all off-season long. Always crush that like button to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses. There's some guys on this list that are 10, 11, 12 that are in that sort of ranking where I feel they should not be the 10th best head coach in any conference, but it just speaks to the depths of the Big Ten and the coaching talent in the Big Ten Conference. Let me show you the list, and now I'm going to explain it. There's no question Jim Harbaugh has solidified himself as one of the elite head coaches in all of college football, and he's solidified himself as the number one head coach in the Big Ten, right? What he's done on the field the last 2 years, just pounding Big Ten teams into submission, especially what he's done to Ohio State, who was the king of the mountain in the Big Ten. He has thrown them off the mountain, and they have planted their flag at the top of the Big Ten Conference. And now, especially in recruiting, as of late, Harbaugh has done some good things as well. I think Ryan Day, you could have a 2A and a 2B, I think, here with James Franklin. But I think Ryan Day really fits in nicely right here, because this is a guy, he has won a college football playoff game. He's been to a national championship. He's won Big Ten titles. After Urban Meyer left Ohio State, he kind of kept the status quo, and the status quo was being one of the elite programs in college football. And he's really proven himself as time has gone on. The reason why he's number 2, I think right now he's left some things on the table, especially as of late in the last couple of years. James Franklin has built Penn State, right? And what he's done since taking over this program, he has slowly but surely kept this program at a consistent level of winning. They've dropped down some years, but for the most part, this is a 9, 10, sometimes an 11-win program at Penn State. He is a coach that is slated to take Penn State to the next level in these next couple of years. He has out-recruited Jim Harbaugh these last, I think, 2022 and 2023. James Franklin is that guy. I think when you look at coaches nationally, I know James Franklin hasn't won a ton of big games at Penn State. I think he's a little bit underrated when you talk about the best head coaches. I think these next couple of years, you're going to find out just how good of a head coach he is. Let's see if he can win some big games. Now, this is where things get interesting. I put Luke Fickell right here because of the body of work that he's put together. Taking a group of 5 Cincinnati team to the college football playoff, building Cincinnati into the G5 powerhouse, and developing a lot of talent for the NFL draft. And then look what he put together shortly in this offseason as head coach at Wisconsin, right? Bringing in Phil Longo as OC, bringing in all these transfer guys. Okay, when you look at today's modern day of college football, okay, you look at NIL, you look at transfer portal, I believe this offseason proved to me that off the field, in the personnel side of things, Luke Fickell can get the job done, and he is adapting to the modern day of college football. Look at the recruitment of Tanner Mordecai. Okay, right when Tanner Mordecai entered the transfer portal, Wisconsin was right there to scoop him up. Okay, I like Brett Bielema. Okay, I know there's been some people in the comments that say, Illinois, you love yourself some blue and orange and blue. You love yourself some Illini football. And man, I just love what Brett Bielema has done. I believe he elevated Wisconsin after he took over for Barry Alvarez. I firmly believe that. Okay, he took them, 3 straight Big Ten titles, and you had some of the best Wisconsin teams, I think, that we've maybe ever seen on campus in Madison, some of the best talent that we've maybe ever seen in Madison, and he did that. I think the reason why I rank him so high, look what he did at Illinois. This was a doormat of a football program at Illinois, and in just 2 short years, he turned them around, and he turned them around big time, and they were in that West Division hunt. Look at the talent he's developed. Look at guys like Devin Witherspoon. Look at guys like Sidney Brown and Chase Brown. They're churning out and developing really good talent. I trust Brett Bielema as a great developer as talent. Will he have a top 5, top 6 recruiting class in the Big Ten yearly? Probably not. But this is a guy that can develop talent with the best of them. Kirk Ferentz, I think, is a drop below. I think you might put him into the top 5 a couple of years earlier. But I just think when we talk about Luke Fickell adapting with the modern day of college football, I just think Kirk Ferentz has fallen behind in that respect. I think a lot of success lately for Iowa is on defense, and that's a big part due to Phil Parker. I just think there's some, look, Kirk Ferentz is still putting it together. He's still coaching. He's still making good teams, right? When Iowa has, many people thought, a bad season this past year, you win 7 games, you win 8 games. That's still a bad season. I think you're doing pretty good. And Kirk obviously has put together a tremendous body of work. PJ Fleck, he had that great year in 2019, but you got to give him a ton of credit for establishing a barometer at Minnesota, right? 8 wins the last couple of seasons. He has said, this is our floor, and we're only going to go up from here. Okay, because before that, Minnesota was not used to having 8 wins as a floor. So you got to give him that, but it almost seems like he's hitting a ceiling at Minnesota. Will that change? Maybe. But it seems like maybe he's reached his peak as a head coach in Minneapolis. You put Maryland in the West Division, they might have won at least one division title since Mike Locksley has been there. Like winning 7 games, winning 8 games, bringing the talent that he is into Maryland. This is a guy, right? We talk about Luke Fickell and adapting to the new age of college football. I think Mike Locksley is a guy that has really adapted to the new age of college football. This is a guy that's brought in a lot of improvement on the offensive side of the ball. This is a guy that's constantly churning out good offensive talent. I think it's been the schedule, right? When you got to play Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan every single year, I think that makes things really tough for Maryland. You mix up the schedule a little bit, you might have a 9-win season in there. You might have a 10-win season in there. But I just think kind of like PJ, is he going to hit the ceiling at 7 or 8 wins just based on where he is? I think that's a question that we all need to ask. Matt Rule, I think, is above Pat Fitzgerald because the last few seasons for Pat Fitzgerald just haven't gone well. I think that's really brought him down. If he would have bounced back this last year, I think he might have been around 7, maybe been around 6. What he's done at Northwestern, right? Northwestern, it's really tough to attract talent, but what he's done at Northwestern has been amazing, and they need to build a statue for him. What he did, winning a Big Ten championship as a player in that great season back in 1995, and then what he's done as a head coach, he is Northwestern football. But man, these past few years have been hard to watch for Northwestern since that 2020 season when they made the Big Ten championship. And I know Matt Rule can develop and build a program, so I think he's going to climb up this list when all is said and done. Mel Tucker, you had one good season, and then you've kind of fallen off, right? I don't really you had one player. You got Kenneth Walker, and he propelled you to 11 seasons. Now do some other stuff. Mel Tucker just hasn't done it, right? He's supposed to be a defensive guy. This has been one of the worst defenses in the Big Ten at Michigan State the last few seasons. Get it together, Mel Tucker. Greg Schiano, tough situation at Rutgers. I think he's getting the most out of this Rutgers football team, but it's hard to put a guy that wins 3 or 4 games a season, up into the top 10 of coaches in the Big Ten Conference. Ryan Walters, it's really hard, for me because really young coach, very inexperienced. He just got things together, having a really good season at Illinois. I trust him as a young coach, and I think he's going to adapt to what it takes to be a big-time head football coach, but there's just a lot of other good head coaches in the Big Ten, and I just think he's kind of inexperienced right now. I want to hear what you guys think. Who do you think are some of the best head coaches in the Big Ten? Do you agree with my list? If you disagree, always leave your thoughts in the comments below. Love to hear your thoughts on all things Big Ten head coach power rankings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Big Ten Ted. We will see you in the next one.